one thing I want to bring up, because there's an elephant in the room, and like I know we all have the high notes, and we all happy, and we all talking about nerdy shit.
Oh God!
But we're all grown. We are all grown, so we gotta talk about grown folk shit. Donald Trump, one of the best supervillains in animated series.
Oh, here we go.
He's the real life Lex Luthor.
I'll get out my vodka.
Come to you, my
Hey, thank God I have ice cream now, because now I'm happy because I have fucking ice cream and not talking about Donald Trump.
We all know his inauguration happened, but Nick, the day of his inauguration, why the fuck did you go on Facebook and start cussing out every fucking body?
I know, right?
No, Anthony, Nick, I want to congratulate you because you did what I didn't have the balls to do. Thank you, my man.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not gonna read the whole thing because for one, this is like Inception. I don't like having to read something about my own shit here. But basically, what I was trying to say is like, yeah, it's your fucking fault, people. Like, it's just, I remember 4 years ago, or I don't know how long it was, but when Donald Trump was about to, become president, or people were talking about him possibly being elected, etc. Everyone was like, ha, that ain't gonna happen. I don't give a fuck, whatever. And then, like, as we got closer, people were like laughing a little bit less. They're like, man, that would suck if he was like president, but who cares? And we just got closer and closer, and then it's like, holy shit, it can actually happen. Vote for Bernie. Like, someone give a shit. Everyone's like, yeah, I'm not a politics person. Now that you're not a politics person, you want to bitch, and Donald Trump is he's the president. Like, it happened. Like, no one thought it was going to happen. It was a joke. I remember when this used to be, like, a funny, like, man, this world's crazy, dude. And it's actually happening.
But, yeah, the Trump thing, man. And Justin Zarian actually brought up a good point because, and I don't mean to throw you under the bus, Adrian, but she was just like, everybody's sad, which I get it. Everybody has frustrated. They feel like, we was making great progress in the world. And then for this to happen, it's just like, what the fuck was all that for? But you know what? Does it, though? Because this makes us like good guys to actually good guys. I don't mean to say bad or good. That's the whole problem within itself. This class is like behavior. But it makes people that are nice, that want to create unity, try that much harder. Because you can't see darkness under more darkness. You got to bring it out to light and actually fix the problem and rectify it. So I guess I get people's frustration. But Justin was just like, hey, you could just, help out at your local food church or whatever.
And, I'm looking into doing that, volunteering and I wish I could have been able to march today, but I wasn't able to. But I donated to the cause, and I'm looking into maybe next time. But we'll see.
Like, and that's good that you're doing it too. But I don't even mean it like that because I ain't gonna do shit. I'm just gonna put out there.
I knew that, but
the thing is though, it's just like I want to put out there where it's just like what do people think is so like, dude, we were in a worse situation with George Bush. Like, and I actually kind of like George Bush, but it's like we cannot deny the fact that shit was worse than what's going on right now. We could have been blown the fuck up.
Give it time.
No, I don't want to say this is worse than I don't want to say that George Bush was worse. I mean, because he was elected before 9/11, because 9/11 happened in the first year of his presidency, and that basically did everything that kind of unraveled through the whole 2000s through my middle school and high school years. And then last few years, have been just kind of rebuilding from that. And George Bush he wasn't like, he was a politician. Donald Trump has never been a politician. He is he's a loud businessman who was basically speaking what the American people thought they wanted to hear and got him elected that way, because he's basically this very blunt, narcissistic man who basically encapsulated what America wanted to hear, and that's why he got elected.
Now, is there any part of that you're kind of happy that at least he's so honest about it? I mean, this dude literally goes on stage and says, like, yeah, I'm a fucking asshole. Like, I'm a douche. Like, I'll say shit about women. I'll say shit about Mexicans. I'll say shit about Hillary Clinton being fucking stupid. Like, and it's like,
I'm gonna arrest her ass when I become president. That was my favorite line.
Yeah, like, he'll talk shit, and it's like, I appreciate that. I want honesty. If you don't like me, fucking say it. Don't be an asshole and do some shit behind my back. And it's like,
Jenny, you can quote me if I'm wrong, but I think it's, like I said, it's the perspective of Trump can be whatever he wants to be. He's an asshole. That's all subjective, but it's the fact that everybody agreed with him and said, yeah, we want this guy to run the country.
Yeah, like, what we should be mad about is people, not mad at the president. We should be mad about
Nah, I blame the DNC, Jenny, because when you look into things, that shit was rigged for Hillary because they wanted to have a legacy in presidents again. They wanted to be able to say that we had the women, we had the first black president, and we also got another Clinton in office. So you guys feel safe. You have it feels like the 90s again.
Dude,
but the problem is with the DNC is they did a lot of corrupt shit, and they picked a candidate who was fucking horrible and did everything they could to curve the candidate that had the best chance of beating Donald Trump. Even when people weren't taking him seriously, Donald Trump was still beating the polls, all the strong, especially local state polls. The problem was people cared about the national polls, and they didn't go state by state. When you went state by state, Donald Trump was kicking ass, and so was Bernie. They just wanted to hear what they wanted to hear with the DNC.
It was weird because like some of the state polls actually were having Hillary, but then it got closer and closer as the election day got near. Because like another state poll here in Wisconsin was being really, really close to basically it was going to be almost like toss up of whoever is going to win, and obviously Wisconsin went Trump. Surprising.
And that's another problem. Hillary Clinton, like all those states that she was supposed to win, she didn't bother campaigning with them, like Wisconsin, your state, and she ended up losing to Donald Trump because she didn't really care. She thought it was a firewall.
Yeah, well, no, because they basically at the end of it, like in the last 2 weeks, that's when they threw everybody at my state. It was like bam, bang after bang after bang, Hillary campaign all over the state, and the big liberal areas of the state being basically Milwaukee and Madison, because the rest of the state's pretty much red, although there's some issues with the state, I will say, regards to politicians, but that's another discussion for another day.
No, Anthony, go ahead.
I will say this, that I don't know if it's true or not. Like I said, take this shit with a grain of salt. But they really, like, I'm really surprised at how naive I was prior, because I don't realize how much Hillary had so much hate. Like when Trump was, congratulating his running mate Hillary at the inauguration, it was said in the crowd, they were saying, lock her up. I'm like, holy shit! Like, where did this come from? I blame myself for not knowing this much about the situation. But I actually want to give it to Alan. As a person that lives in Canada, what is your outside perspective of this whole situation?
Honestly, it's strange because when we were watching it, and we saw a lot of the live, debates. It was like a comedy show.
Yeah, it really was.
I literally couldn't believe what was happening because we've had elections in Canada, and I've seen a lot of them, and it's just the typical boring thing. Watching that was like watching a fucking movie or watching House of Cards. It was just as entertaining.
Yeah.
But I'm not surprised Trump won, and not because of all of a lot of the reasons. Obviously, the feelings he brought up from a lot of people, but it was mostly the fact that Hillary should have won. She has the most experience. But every 3 days there's some fucking scandal about her doing something that could have compromised national security or could have done this, could have done that. And that I think really killed it for her. Because all of Trump's issues, scandals are celebrity scandals. So he said something stupid or some sort of business thing that didn't go through, but nothing that's really illegal, just a bunch of dumb statements. Hillary's constantly doing illegal shit to the extent where we have no idea what she's doing. So it made sense that she lost on that aspect. So it's just kind of a ridiculous race that I think everybody lost. Nobody won in this situation.
My whole thought is just, it's a shitty situation, and I understand why it's a shitty situation. Because, again, all you guys pretty much covered it. When I was watching, I was just like, this is a joke. Because pretty much that whole South Park thing of, where they were saying, oh, yeah, we were all joking. We were all laughing. And then it started to get close. And then all of a sudden, it started to get even closer. And it's just then he became crazy. It's just that's how I was feeling the whole election time. I was just like, holy fuck, I can't believe all this happened. And then I just... It's one of those things where I look at it and go, I'll be honest about myself. I'm one of these people who's very indifferent. I can always just say, okay, well, that sucks, but I can focus on this and this and this. And I know that, all these laws, there's certain things I know for a fact he can't do, if he wants to do. I know for that, then that gives me comfort. But then, I'm worried about, the only thing I really worry about is, the thing where people are being attacked in the streets or people actually go because since I live in Maryland, I see sometimes there are people who are Trump supporters and they go by and then since this is very African American ridden place over here, then it's they sometimes do. I have seen people get into it over you have a Trump sticker on your car and then they get into a fight, and it's just I just don't want to see people just go in this battering ram thing. The way I personally see it is just it's the Earth Kingdom got taken over by the Fire Nation. That's how I've seen it. This is a temporary thing, but we'll overcome it.
Actually, speaking about that, Nick, helping out the ghetto or those type of communities, actually want to transition to Josh's community question because it asks us about that. Because
God
before we
damn!
What?
Bro, that's a lot of words, man.
That was dude, and that's the condensed version.
Josh.
Boy,
He sent you a fucking thesis paper.
No. Pretty much just saying what can Obama do for the black community that he already didn't do, and where do you rank his presidency among other presidents? That's pretty much the layman's terms of it.
It seemed like people were expecting Obama to like literally have no not segregation, but just no racism in America whatsoever. Like for everyone to be united as one, true and equally. It's like that's not going to happen in 8 years. It's just not possible. I think he did the best he could. I mean, where he was at when he took the presidency, like we were in a really bad area, like economically. And I think that he did the best he could to get us out of that. We're definitely better off than we were 8 years ago when, Bush was president. So I think people don't give him enough credit. I think people were really expecting us to be like really thriving, like, hey, the middle class is doing great. We can get all this stuff, no debt. Yeah, I think people were really expect us to really thrive. Like business wise, everyone has a job, crime rate's going to be at an all-time low, all of this stuff. And it's like, it's going to take several decades for us to get anywhere near that. Let alone racism's probably not going to die in for a long time. Yeah. It's always going to be prejudice somewhere. So I think people really just expected him, I don't know, to be like a Martin Luther King or something like that, to really significantly change our world. And it's just like, they really asked too much. And I think he could do the best he could, really. I think he did a phenomenal job with what he was given. Yeah,
I agree, Ali, because I think some people forget that, not just with Obama, but like other presidents. Like it's just not going to take one presidency to get rid of these issues. It's going to take multiple people working together. Like I said, unity, togetherness, teamwork. Like it's going to take multiple people.
Yeah, people tend to forget that like when Obama was president, Congress was full of Republicans. So it was really hard for anything to pass because you have a Democratic president, but then everyone who's opposing him is all like Republican, so he can barely get anything done because he has all these people opposing him because they're on the opposite the opposite party and they have different beliefs.
And I think he didn't really do as much as people are portraying he did. For example, the biggest thing he has on his legacy is Obamacare, and me personally, I have a story with that for instance, my mom actually got on Obamacare when it first came out, but as the premium started raising, she couldn't afford it. So she ended up having to drop the Obamacare. And now she's under this other bracket where if people aren't insured, they get charged a certain amount of money for not being insured a year. So now people are being fined for not being insured, like if you're a dog or something. My biggest problem with Obama is that a lot of stuff that he could have done through executive orders, such as shut down Guantanamo Bay, he didn't do. And you said that he had like a hardcore Republican Congress, when as a matter of fact, the first year he was in office, he had the Senate, the House, everything. He had everything just like how Donald Trump came in. But he wanted to do bullshit compromise with Republicans. Meanwhile, the Republicans already said they weren't going to compromise at all. So what he ended up doing was going further to the right on all policies. That's how we got the bullshit Obamacare when we should have got. That's why we got a bunch of corporate deals that went through under him, and how he was supporting TPP, which was going to kill a lot of American jobs and was one of the main rallying points of he was against TPP. But let's see if that motherfucker's against it now. And he did do a lot to ramp up the war on terror. Like he started bombing Syria, Libya. He started bombing African countries. He put special forces on the ground in Africa and the Middle East. He's increased our hostilities with Russia tenfold, especially with putting troops on, the Baltic states like Estonia, Lithuania, which is just right next door to Russia. That's like Russia putting military on Mexico border for us.
But I will also point out that there have also been really big strides for the LGBT community.
That wasn't under him, though. That happened under Bush, if you want to be honest, Jenny.
No, not really, because a lot of the stuff did, happen under Obama as well. A lot of the stuff, I mean, okay, maybe it started during the Bush era, but it really grew under Obama.
Well, that's because he took a hands-off approach. He didn't want to go single, family values, all that shit. And he secretly did support gay rights in the 90s. The problem, though, is he was still trying to win over conservatives. So he's just ignored the gay problem until the Supreme Court answered it for him, and then he threw up rainbow lights on the White House.
Well, my thing with Obama is I'm not really one for politics, right? I mostly just like enjoyed the memes because I'm a meme person. You know, I like to laugh or whatever. But on a serious note, I feel like the black community expected Obama just to mainly focus on them, and I think that was kind of the wrong attitude to have. Like even when you read that question, I was like, "Oh, here we go again, another Obama supposed to focus only on the black community thing." I think I just have a real problem with that because it's like Obama's supposed to focus on everybody, the whole country, not just the black community. I mean, I just really don't get what could Obama have done different for the black community, and even then, why should he ignore everybody else? Because as you said, it's supposed to be a unity thing. Like Obama's supposed to help the people, not just the black people. You know, like I just always had an issue hearing that because I've heard that around my old household all the time, and I was just like, really, guys, like. It shouldn't be like that.
No, I agree, Chicho. Yeah, it does make it feel like our community, the black community, it does feel entitled because now our president is black, so we can do whatever we want.
You know what? It's almost as if like Deshaun won the lottery over like across the street, and so like, oh hey man, brother, remember I gave you guys, it's time to return the favor.
Hey, I was the one that drove you to go pick up the ticket.
Exactly. I drove you to work.
Hell yeah.
One thing I've read a lot, and Gonza brought up some good points too, is that Obama was very idealistic. And I think the reason why he got voted in all 8 years is because people wanted to hold on to those ideas that, yes, he was going to try to make these things happen. But the way he did it was very wrong. Because as Gandra said, he went ahead and – because I read about some of this stuff on Reddit, actually, about how he went out and did all this bombing and all this stuff, and which is the opposite of what he was trying to do in terms of uniting the people. He made Russia even more angry at us and that kind of thing. So it's like Obama had good ideas and everything, but like it just didn't execute well, But other than that, I feel like living in the U.S. was kind of more relaxing compared to the Bush years, though. Living in this day and age, like it felt like almost like how it was back with Clinton. Like I know co-host said that back in the day on Phil, where it felt like Clinton years, and it's like, yeah, I was a kid then, but like living in it and seeing how people used to live during the George Clinton years, it was like, you know what? I kind of agree. It was more like a relaxing time.
George Clinton, dude.
No, but like people keep saying, I want it back to where the days of Bill Clinton was great and everything. Here's the thing, man. Bill Clinton didn't have shit. Everybody else dealt with all the bullshit. Desert Storm happened with like George Bush, like the main George Bush, not George Bush Light. And then afterwards, yeah, I don't know. But then afterwards, man, like then the other George Bush had to deal with some shit, and then Barack Obama had to fix everyone else's fuck ups, and had to get us down from that $400 trillion fucking. What was that debt?
Obama had to get us out of basically the Great Recession because I remember going into college in 2007 and then all of a sudden the economy crashed and I was like sitting in college like, fuck, what the fuck am I going to do when I graduate from school?
Yeah, and you survived.
Okay, I survived, but it took me 5 years out of college before I could even get anywhere. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. I mean, because college is one thing where, it's like, I don't want to share anybody who's successing in college and doing good things. I know, Allie, you do college. I know, whatever. But, like, for me, I don't even believe in college. Like, they're fucking, like, you're being robbed. You know what I mean? That's what I feel. But at the same time, though, I just got to say, it's like Bill Clinton, everyone gives him, like, hey, like, props Bill Clinton. That dude was lazy. He was fucking a little slow. Literally. He didn't do shit. And he was just lucky that he was in the greatest time of our generation. And, that's not his doing. That's just the people around him doing a great job and no one fucking with us. And people always say, what's that, Trent?
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure that's what co-host meant when he said that, don't they? Like, I agree with you. I agree with everything you're saying, Nick. Like, that's why I felt like Obama didn't really do anything, but, like, it was more of a relaxing period for us. Because like with Bush,
he got us out of he's like made us because we're in a $400 trillion debt, and it went down to like $350 trillion. And I know Donald Trump brought that up during his debate, and we kept he likes to blame Trump or Obama for everything. It's like, oh, we're in the debt thing because Barack Obama was president. Like he had nothing. Like it was like that before he even became president, like in 2007. So I don't know what the fuck Trump is
But the
talking
thing
about.
is, people don't remember that far back, and people are harping on the current fears.
Mhm.
That's what they do, is they harp on the current fears, and people are too lazy to go do research.
Exactly.
Put it
I
that way.
agree. I agree with you, Jenny, because people have been bringing up like, "Hey, wait a minute, wasn't Obama supposed to take all the guns away?" Because remember that was the thing in the beginning,
Yeah.
and that never happened. So yeah, it's always the beginning things that people like to focus on.
Just
Well, it seems that people are mad that Obama didn't quote unquote unify all of the races together. Oh my God!
Holy shit!
Anthony, what?
Just continue. Just the show goes on.
Okay,
The show goes on.
can someone get a card for Anthony's chair?